Hello all. So I thought I'd do a video, and this is completely off a whim, and it's going to be rawer than a less than well done steak. Cracking line that was, obviously. Not as cracking as some of the lines that I had on Friday. Not from me though, obviously, but you know, if I was to do drugs, it'd go right under people's noses. Obviously in that sense, of course, you know, there are other drugs that you can take, you know, laughing gas for one, albeit it doesn't make you laugh, just makes you a little bit lightheaded. Not that I know that. Not that I know that. It's something I Googled. I kind of sort of made this video primarily just because it's coming up to 5 years since I graduated from university. And in that 5 years, it's given me a chance to reflect on many things. And obviously, as a human being, I often think about the most negative scenarios, if you like, sort of thing. So, for instance, with regards to finishing university, I kind of sort of sat there and I've sat back and I thought, oh, I haven't done this, I haven't done that, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. And then you look over your shoulder, like I just did there, obviously, for a physical sense, but no, on a literal sense, you sort of, or a figurative manner, you look over your shoulder and you think, I haven't achieved this, I haven't achieved that. Then you find yourself watching TV shows or going on your social media feed and seeing people that haven't really done a lot for society suddenly get gifted these £100 million brand deals. You know, all of a sudden they've got this amount of sort of influence, social influence and notoriety that really almost deters you away from the amount of hard work that you put into your own sort of profile in order to obviously achieve your goals. And I definitely am guilty of feeling this sort of form of emotion and looking at that and sort of thinking, oh shit, you know, I'm 27 years of age, yet old 21, you know, Cedric from Brighton has, you know, managed to jump on this sort of TV show. He's got brand new veneers, he's got a cracking nose job, he's obviously been out on the old sunbeds for a couple of weeks, and he's now suddenly earning, you know, 3-4 times my annual salary within a week, purely for simply, you know, wearing some tighty whitey Speedos in the middle of some random villa in the middle of Spain. I mean, to be fair, I do all of those things, no doubt, you know, obviously. I just wouldn't be very good at the entertainment side of things, hence why I don't have many followers. But often I find myself looking at those sort of people and almost comparing. It's a very, very easy thing to do, especially with my generation. I consider my generation to be the most tapped, more tapped than a chip and pin reader, I would often say, with regards to comparing themselves to one another in order to sort of almost battle for notoriety and a sense of sort of fulfillment, well-being, and there's a word for it, it's on the tip of my tongue. Achievement. That's not the word, but yeah, we go forward. So what I mean is, I'm going to let this roll as well. I'm going to let this go quite raw. That sounds dodgy, doesn't it? It's fucking raw. The reason why I think we do that quite often is we often become what is known as the consumer. So with regards to social media and clicks and so forth, the algorithm obviously dictates our every move, I find, especially as creators. We're always trying to chase the right algorithm, the right hashtag, in order to get our videos out there and to get some form of notoriety from it, as well as some sort of social media appearance. Because obviously through that notoriety, following and so forth, comes obviously certain brand deals that potentially could go away. Obviously not for me, I'm too ugly for all that sort of stuff. My nose is too busted up to be put on modelling sort of contracts and so forth, no matter how skinny I get. But like from that, obviously that does dictate a lot of our future, and sometimes it can dictate the reason why we put out certain videos, and even some of our emotions as well can be dictated from that. I know for a fact I am one of those people that will sit there and scroll through social media for about approximately 4 or 5 hours a day, and that can be sort of, you know, continued throughout the weekend to even more than that. And that in itself obviously really does pin the question of my own self-worth, my own self-identity, and it obviously is sort of led on to what the subject I'm going to talk about now, which is obviously an existential crisis. Now, over the past few years, I have been, or last year in particular, I've actually been in 5 jobs. And the reason being is I couldn't quite find my place within each and every company that I was working for at the time, either within the sort of people I was working amongst, or even my sheer competence at actually doing the job itself. Obviously, I'm fortunate enough now I'm reaching a year into my employment with one job, as well as now slowly building up my business to the position where I've now starting to obviously brand things a little bit more, and I've now started to create a logo for my business. But obviously 5 years ago I graduated from uni. I almost considered myself to be a little bit more successful than I'm at right now. And that's really the reason why I want to make this video, is to understand and appreciate that you're not always going to achieve those things you want within the timeline that you initially set. And it's so important to look back and reflect upon those things. And most importantly, be very grateful for the things that you do have. The things I have, I'm very fortunate for, and I do pay for, which is a roof over my head, a lovely girlfriend. I don't pay for her. As much as she probably would tell you that, I don't pay for her. And if I did, she'd be bloody expensive because she's incredibly patient. Not talking about a doctor either. And obviously, you know, I am in a reasonably well-paid job that looks after myself each and every month, as well as obviously those who I love dearly, who are close around me as well. And it also enables me to obviously train to, you know, keep myself physically fit and in shape, as well as my clients, as well as obviously train for fights in order to push out my comfort zone a little bit more. I've got ever so much to be grateful for, but often I don't practice that due to the fact that I do spend a hell of a lot of time draining my energy and almost a bit of my soul just going on social media and seeing what other people are achieving and questioning myself. Obviously, I'm closing in on that big 3-0. Well, I'm 27, so I've got a few years. And I feel like my generation being one of the, not the first, but one of the first to really sort of see the internet really evolutionise over the past 10, 15 years. We've seen a lot of change in that time. And obviously from that, a lot of our lives have actually been dictated by the use of social media. And often through that, it reflects upon our mood on a day-to-day basis. Now, if you're anyone like me, where I have a mood swing probably once every couple of hours, and this literally can repeat itself, I can be really high and then really low and then really happy and then really sad within a matter of moments, really energetic, really lethargic and so forth. Social media is something that certainly does not help that. And obviously the great weight of expectation that we have now over our shoulders to achieve certain things by a certain period of time is even greater than I feel like it ever has been. And obviously with the certain housing crisis that's going on at the moment, and obviously the heating crisis going up a little bit more, and some of us not being able to afford new kettles. I can, but obviously I'll let that one boil over. We tend to find ourselves putting a hell of a lot of pressure on ourselves, and we tend to find ourselves almost battling, not internally, but externally with other people, even people we've never even met before, who we don't even know have probably actually got previous endorsements from them, family, friends and so forth, and actually come from well-off backgrounds to begin with. And have almost a bit of a more of a socioeconomic head start than we do. But we tend to sort of deem ourselves as failures just purely because we don't have the watch that they have on their wrist and we don't have the car that they have on their drive. Obviously, that is something, again, that's quite easily sort of to, you know, an easy trap to fall into. And what I can easily say for that one, obviously, just linking in with the thing on my shelf now, is a lot of those people can be quite sort of self-centered pricks. No, I'm only joking. I just genuinely wanted to get that joke in. But obviously that goes down to not practicing gratitude and obviously being perhaps even bored within your life and just becoming a consumer. I do believe a lot of us are major consumers and we spend way too much time on the internet buying things that we don't necessarily need, but obviously in our brain it's sort of stimulating us to sort of get that quick fix of the release of dopamine to purchase certain things that will make us happy for 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden they're tossed to the corner, and that's little to be said about that sort of stuff. Not saying this for everyone, this is for a lot of people. And it goes the same with YouTube and content creation as well. We often allow ourselves to fall into the concept that we must create this video because, you know, this is going to get hits and people are going to like that, as opposed to the fact that it's actually something that we stand by our own views. And it again suppresses our own true internal emotions, changes us as a person externally, and then we're being viewed in a completely different way as to the way we actually initially wanted to be viewed in the first place. At least that's my experience anyway. And that's what's caused me a lot of the times to not release videos, because quite frankly, I don't have the heart for it as much as I probably should do. A bit like that, is it the lion in Narnia, I think it is? No, the other one, Wizards of Yellow Brick Lane. What's that called? That bloody TV show. Wizards of the Wizard of Oz. That's the one. I got there in the end. Wizard of Australia. But anyway, the reason why I'm doing this video, one, is just to self-reflect upon things, obviously without looking in the mirror, although that thing is really creeping me out because I keep thinking I keep seeing a face there. Wilson, hello Wilson. But also just to really sort of, you know, almost raise awareness for obviously the fact that a lot of people my age and even younger are going through an existential crisis purely based on their perception of the way the world works, and how realistically we should obviously perceive the way the world works through our own subjective eye. Take time away from the internet or telephones or anything like that. I'm sounding like I was born in the 1930s with a saying like telephones. But also to just give ourselves time to reflect upon the things that we do have, and obviously to write things down of what we want to achieve and add a few materialistic things on there, because why not? You know, we are materialistic beings after all. Anyway, I've yabbered on for a long period of time. I hope you guys have watched this video. I'd really appreciate it if you did get the whole way through. But just to test you've watched the whole way through, I'm going to add a little hidden message on this, as I will do with many other videos as well. My hidden message today is Sean Ramsey is the king and no one can tell him any otherwise. But other than that, I really hope you've enjoyed this video, or tolerated it at the very least. And I hope to see you in the next one. Peace and love. God bless. And be happy, be safe, be grateful.